Microsoft Word 2003 Automatic Features Part 1. It's been often said that if you had someone that could maybe stand over your shoulder and point out some misspelled words or maybe make some suggestions on something to type in, that'd make your life a lot easier. Or sometimes it can be just annoying. But with Word 2003, they've made it very easy with some of the auto features like autocorrect, auto text, auto formatting. We're going to take a look at the first two in this video. Here's what we're looking at with our automatic features in this first part of a two-part series. We're going to take a look at autocorrect, how Word comes in and behind you fixes things and mistakes that you've made automatically. And then also auto text, where it comes in and makes suggestions on, hey, would you like to type this in? Or maybe that. Or maybe this or maybe that. It gives you a lot of suggestions, but yet you have control over it, as we're going to see. Using Microsoft Word 2003 is all about making life easier for you when you are typing up letters or typing up any type of documentation. And some of the features that we've already told you we're going to talk about include that auto text, auto format, and autocorrect. Well, let's take a look at autocorrect first, because I think it's one that you've encountered if you've used Word 2003 at any point in time. Here I brought up my customer response letter 2. Now this one has been fixed. If you remember, the first time we looked at this letter, which is for Dan here as a valued customer of Acme Instruments, we had misspelled words like replacement, and we showed you how the grammar check will go in and change a sentence that would said, will bring you many, and that's all it said. Okay, well, let's fix that. And so we've made those fixes. Now let's say I want to add another paragraph to this letter talking about how they can contact customer service. Okay, makes sense. So I hit enter and I say, if you need any further assistance, please call the... Now notice what happened. When I typed in the, I typed in T-E-H, and I hit the space bar. As soon as I did that, Word says, hey, I think you mean to spell the word the. So it automatically changed it. For example, and what this is autocorrect will go in and it will take a lot of the more commonly misspelled words because you're typing too fast. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just start typing real fast and all of a sudden I look back and go, what? You know, I've typed a whole bunch of weird questions. I hit the H, after I hit the E because my finger was moving too quick. Well, this is going to do something like that. Like, for example, I can say telephone and I hit space. Notice it automatically changed it. Now, someone might say, well, wait a minute. What if the word really was telephone instead of telephone? And you really wanted it to say that. Maybe you were describing a misspelled word in a document about the misspelled word of telephone. I know, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But let's say you're trying to show an example of a misspelled word. Well, if Word keeps changing it, that's not going to help you. I take my mouse, and notice the little box that shows up? That means that autocorrect has been utilized on this particular word. So what I can do is if I roll over this, notice that as I hold my mouse over it, eventually it comes up with the little lightning bolt here, which is the autocorrect options for telephone in this case, because it's the word that autocorrect worked on. So if I click on the down arrow, I get some options here. I can change it back to the word telephone, which maybe that was the word I wanted to do. And maybe that's a new word. So I can say stop automatically correcting telephone. That's the actual word that I want to use. And I also have the ability to control my autocorrect options. But what I can say is that, because a lot of times you'll be typing in words and autocorrect will be on or auto format and people get all upset because like, I don't want it to do that. Well, you can tell Word to stop that behavior just by selecting that down arrow here and saying stop automatically correcting telephone, or change it back to telephone just for this once because I'm purposely misspelling that word, and please don't correct it. Then we can also click on the control autocorrect option. So let's go ahead and click that, and notice it brings up our dialog box here which says autocorrect. You can show the autocorrect options buttons. You can correct the two initial capitals, so if you hit the shift key and then try to type and then it automatically says, oh, you must not want to do that. You can change that. You can deselect it if you want. Any of these options are deselectable, and these are the ones that come by default. it automatically goes in and says, hey, we want to do this. You can correct the accidental usage of the caps lock key. And notice it shows you how it will tell. You'll have because you hit the shift key because you think you're hitting a capital, and then the rest of the letters are all in caps. So say, I bet that you didn't want to use that. I bet you want to turn caps lock off. It will go back and change everything and turn the caps lock key off. You also have, and this is what has been happening to me on those last two words, the and telephone. Replace text as you type. Now you might say, well, it doesn't look like you have a lot. Well, that's what's down here. If I type in a parens and a C and another parens, it will automatically give me the nice symbol. Remember on a previous video, we saw how you can insert symbols. Well, you can also use autocorrect options to use commonly used, parens, C, parens, N parens, and it'll give you the copyright symbol, or the parens, little r, N parens, and it will give you the registered mark. So here you can see trademark, ellipses, whatever you need to do, it's all in here. Now, there's a lot of words. You got your smiley icons, your emoji icons in here. Arrows, if you want to use this, it will replace with this. It will autocorrect. And then it starts giving you the most commonly misspelled words, like about. You hit two B's instead of one, or you, instead of hitting the U and then the T, you hit the T versus the U. And so it will automatically replace it. Now, let's say you have another commonly misspelled word that you want to, change. Let me see if I already have it in here, but I think with double, that's one that I always have a problem with, and they probably have it in here because they are pretty smart, but if they don't, they don't. See? Notice I don't have double in there. So let's say I misspelled double with D-U-O-B-L-E. Yeah, I just misspelled it a little bit. I tab over, and now I say D-O-U-B-L-E. Here's what I might mistype, and that's possible. I hit the U versus the O. They're right next to each other on the keypad. I might hit it a little too quick. It'll replace it with double. I then hit add. At that point, it will work for me. So let's see if that works. Now, I've made a change here. Replace text as you type. Let me click OK. And now I'm going to type in D-U-O-B-L-E and hit space. Look at that. Bada bing, bada boom. It's set up. It's ready to go. And I can add these if there are words that I mistype a lot and I want to make sure it's in autocorrect. I can merely go to the autocorrect options and then change those for replacing whatever it is I need to replace. Next, let's go ahead and show you how auto text works. But first off, let's go ahead and get rid of double. Telephone number 1-800-555-1212, the universal number. Okay, so let's say that we've gone ahead and done that. We've used autocorrect. We have those features in place. But the next thing we want to do is see how sometimes, let me scroll down here, sometimes we can have it automatically suggest things. Let's say I don't want to say thanks again. Let's say I want to do something different, like best regards. That's a common salutation or a closing to a letter. So I can type in B-E-S-T space R-E. Now watch what happens. As soon as I start, it's going to say, oh, it looks like you're trying to type in best regards. Press enter to insert. So I go ahead and hit enter, and it fills it in for me. This is important because unlike autocorrect, which will automatically go in and fill it in and change things, with auto text, it is going to only put the entry in when you tell it to. In other words, when you hit enter. And there are a whole bunch of these auto texts that you can use. So you can use meaningful words as abbreviations without using the automatic replacements. So if you use, for example, you could use ME as the abbreviation for marketing enterprises. Well, every time you start typing in ME with autocorrect, it'll start going, oh, marketing enterprise, boop, and put it in there. No. I don't want to do that. So, for example, how do we insert some of these things? Let me go ahead and show you where we can get to the options for autocorrect and auto text. It is under Tools, Autocorrect Options. When you select this, it brings up the autocorrect, which includes autocorrect that we saw, auto format, which will be in another video, smart tags, which will be in another video, and then auto text. So select on auto text. Here you can see the autocomplete suggestions. In other words, remember how I typed in BEST space R, and then it automatically said, oh, you must be wanting to type best regards. And so it'll show you exactly when I select on it what it's going to show up when you finish typing on it. Let's say I wanted to do, I said marketing enterprises. So if I want to add a new one here. So what I can type in is marketing enterprises. So if I want to do that, I can click on add, right? So I click on add, and now I have marketing enterprises down here. So you can do the marketing enterprises. And so it'll say, oh, you want to put it on marketing. And then if you want, you can go ahead and insert anything else that you want into the document right now. So if I wanted to, I can come in here to auto text and click on insert, and it'll put it where my cursor is in the document, and it'll do it. Watch. I hit insert. Boop, there we go. Marketing enterprises. So it's set up and ready to go. So let me go ahead and erase that and go back because it's all giving me auto spell check saying, hey, that best regards marketing enterprises is not a real word. Okay, we get that. So now we can see with the auto text, it makes the suggestions. And so if you have commonly used phrases, terms, page numbers, let's see a couple of the other tools that we have there, autocorrect options with the auto text. It will give you all of the auto text entries that are here, page, author, page number, date, CBT nuggets, of course, certified mail, my name. So when I start typing it, it'll try to auto-complete it for you, but it asks you first. It's not just going to put that in. Remember, it's all about making your life easier as a Word expert. So when you come in here and you need to type in the documents, that's what all this auto stuff is for. Now, one thing that's nice is if I don't want to have to go in and hit Tools and then come here and click on Auto Text, what if I want to have those entries right at my fingertips? Not a problem. Click here under Show Toolbar, and now you're going to have your tool options, your autocorrect options, right here. It's already here on the toolbar. So if I want to say best regard instead of best regards here, let me come back here. And let's say I just want to add best regards. I can click on all entries down here, and notice it gives me all of my options. Here's my salutation, signature, I've got signature company, subject line, all these type of things. Closing is the one I'm looking for. Best regards, best wishes, cordially, love, regards, sincerely yours. Thank you, yours truly. All these options. So in this case, I want best regards. Bada bing, bada boom, it's inserted right there. And that's the nice thing about having it on the toolbars. Now, if you didn't do it that way, you can also click on View, Toolbars, and it shows up as Auto Text. Auto Text. So if I deselect it, it disappears. If I want to see it again, I can come down over here, click on View, Toolbars, Auto Text, and it appears again. If I want to change anything, all I need to do is click on the Auto Text button over here in the corner, and it will bring up my autocorrect dialog box. So let's say I want to add something different. If I want to add perhaps looking forward to meeting with you. That's a nice long sentence, comma. Well, I can now add that, so not a problem. Now it's going to be in there. So when I put that in there, I click OK, or let's go ahead and close that. Now my all entries. I wonder where that's going to be. Is it an attention line, a closing, header, footer, subject line? What happened to that one? Look under normal. Normal is anything that you put in. There's my marketing enterprises. Here's my looking forward to meeting with you. It doesn't complete it all because it's too wide for that. But here's where it's going to be placed, under the normal. It's one of the category entries. Everything else, the mailing instructions, the header, footer, whatever it is, it's all set up and ready to go. The header footer one is one that I find pretty fascinating as well, because a lot of times you want to make sure that you put in a page number, the author, whether it's confidential. All you need to do is select page X of Y, and it'll put it right here in your text. Or you would have to open up the header and footer and put that information in. So whether just remember, just because it says up here all entries and you put header footer, it doesn't place this into the header and the footer. It places wherever your cursor is. That's a little gotcha you have to watch out for, because if you notice, I went ahead and put it here, and boop, there it is, right there on the page, not where I wanted it, which is going to be in the header and footer. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And now I've used my auto text and I've used my autocorrect, and I'm ready now to send off my letter here to my valued customer of Acme Instruments, Mr. Dan C. So hopefully now you're feeling a little more confident when you approach Word 2003, because number one, it's going to help you out. It's going to come in and correct any of those, fat finger is what we call it, where you just type too fast or you hit the wrong key. It'll automatically come in and correct those misspellings. And of course, if you want to change that behavior, Word is very understanding and says, hey, you can change it back if you want. We also took a look at auto text, which gives us suggestions for commonly used phrases, things like with regards or thank you for calling or whatever it is. It's going to put that in and it's going to say, do you want to use this? It looks like you're trying to type this, hit enter, and it will automatically enter it. All of these, autocorrect, auto text, and later on when we see with auto formatting, they're all customizable to your needs. That's one of the beautiful things about Word 2003. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.